Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Outside the Locker Room TV show. My name is Jake Edwards. I'm your host, and I'm joined by the great man Dipper. How are you, buddy?
I'm very good, Jakey boy. How's your week?
Oh, my week was really, really good. I see you had the headphones on, bobbing away. Is
Yeah,
there
well, it's
any
just
reason?
cool music. I like a bit of music. It's funny though because, how was your week?
Good week, actually. Yeah, really good week. The weather's been good. Really, really loving this week. Went for a run today around Albert Park.
You said that about what's 5K or something?
Yeah, 5K. It wasn't very quick.
Well, at least you can run. That's the main thing. I love running.
What about you? How was your week?
Week's been really good. I've got back on the golf course with a couple of boys and really enjoyed that. And it's just nice to get back in a bit of fresh air with the golf, bit of competition. We know what golf's about. It's not actually playing against someone, so you play against the course, you know. But so really nice. The weather's been good. I've taken up kite surfing.
You've done it,
yeah?
Have you?
Well, I'm getting lessons at the moment.
Yeah, how's it
going?
going?
I'm really looking. Well, I went all right. I mean, I'm a natural air thing, but. And then yesterday, I went for a really nice walk yesterday up towards Point Nepean. I've never been to where the guns used to be and that sort of stuff. Whatever. It was about a 3-4K walk. So yeah, I'm going well.
Yeah, good. Headed into the weekend, feeling fresh.
Yeah, well, look, I in the past haven't had many weekends because I've always been working on weekends. Because of this isolation, it's pretty nice that I've had my family down there, my grandkids down there. It's been really cool.
What about Velvet?
Velvet, I'm actually picking Velvet up tonight, and she's coming down with me for the week.
So for those that don't know, Velvet is Dipper's pug.
Velvet the pug.
The pug.
She's a ripper. She's about 8 years of age, and any good. So
just quickly, mate. Last week's show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Again tonight, we can't stress you enough. If you guys have any questions at all for sport, life, mental health, anything you want to leave in the comments below, and Dipper and I are going to answer some questions throughout the show. So please go ahead and do that. Don't feel like that you can't ask us anything, because we will try our best to answer them also. Just quickly on the sponsors tonight, just want to say thank you. Dip, you want to give a couple of thanks out?
Yeah, well, Team Zone who make these wonderful footy cards, and it's footy season around the corner again, so these cards are getting really popular again.
Sure is.
So we thank them very much, and the best question gets a box of 36 packs of footy cards. It's a lot of footy cards. Imagine going home with that there. And also Nick from Northern Motoring Group. So once again, thank you very much, Nick, for the offer. If you need a car, go to Northern Motor Group in Grinshaw Street, Bundoora. And if you buy a car and you mention our show, you get 3 years free service. Now, that's a lot of service in there. And but the good news is that any money that goes through the service goes to the charity outside the locker room. So we thank you very, very much. And if you want to be a sponsor on the show, all you have to do is
reach out. Jump on the website.
Reach out or do this. I've always wanted to do that. What am I doing?
What are you doing?
Check out the website.
Check out the website. That's it.
There's no website there. The boys are telling me there's no website there. I'm just going like that, you know.
Just hotlr.org.au. We can help you out.
And we're happy to push your brand anywhere you like.
Yeah.
So,
and thanks to the guys for their support. It means a lot. So really appreciate it. Hey, tonight's show is a really exciting one because we've got local legend Brett Henderson, who we'll have on in a little bit, not too far away, Dip. He'll be on very shortly. Got your vault, very special vault tonight.
Yeah, well, last week you stitched me up.
I did stitch you up, which I was very happy with.
And last week you stitched me up because I was thinking about you're going to do the best vault or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's just stitching me up. I don't know what's on the vault tonight, and I haven't picked the vault this week. Please don't stitch me up again. But you got something special coming?
We do. So obviously with The Last Dance, which is Michael Jordan's documentary, we thought in special recommendation of Jordan and the work that he obviously does in basketball, we thought we'd pick his top 3 plays.
A lot of talk about MJ. Actually, we had a dog called MJ. The kid's named after Michael Jordan. We know what sort of great player he was, but now this has come out. What a competitor! What a hard man!
Yeah.
Do not say anything to Jordan. He remembers everything.
He sure does. It's interesting how Luke Longley in that didn't want to be a part of the documentary.
Amazing.
Anyone has listened to Howie Games, Luke Longley does a great interview with him. You get more insight, which they seem to get along, but for some reason Luke didn't want to be on the documentary, which was interesting. But anyway, we'll get on to that later on. We've got a very, very special guest tonight. The last few weeks we've had our connections with footy, obviously being AFL, a lot of sports people on, but very special guest tonight, a lady by the name of Booka Nile. Now, of all the guests that we've had, I'd say I reckon Booka's probably the best one that we're going to have tonight.
Right,
pretty excited.
because?
Well, because Booka is actually a musician artist by trade.
Yeah.
She plays for a band, in a couple of bands, one called Make Them Suffer, who I'm a big fan of. But she's also a psych grad, she's a law student, but she's also just launched a new product or a new business called Sonic Minds, which is music therapy.
That's what you're doing at the moment.
It's what I'm doing at the moment. So Dip has heard of me doing it the last couple of weeks, and
Right.
you said last week, why don't you get Booka on the show?
Fantastic.
So
we
tonight
really
we look forward to having her on.
look forward to hear what Booker says about you, but also the idea about music is I love music, you know, and all genres of music, right? But lately I'm into Impala. Do you know who Impala is?
I do know Impala, yes.
Or I've gone back. Actually, we spoke about this last week about
the song.
you know, all different type of songs are just coming back to me. But no, and the idea is you're doing music therapy to help you yourself, but also write a song, the music, and maybe she could write a song for our show.
Yeah, maybe, but Booka will give us the psychology around music and why it really makes a difference in people's lives. And most of us love music, but we always want to know why. Why is music so important to us?
Yeah.
So Booka will touch on that a bit later on.
Awesome.
But let's get in the show. And at the very end, we'll answer those questions. So please leave your questions below.
Yeah.
Give us something to talk about later on, which would be really, really great. Have a bit of a laugh. More than happy to share any stories that we can throughout the show. We're going to jump to a quick ad break now, thanks to our sponsors there at Northern Motoring Group. And then after that, we're going to jump into Brett Henderson, who's going to join us as our local legend.
G'day, Dipper here at Northern Jeep, and today we're answering the call of the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee Night Eagle, a masterpiece with a dark side. This limited edition SUV is wrapped in black, tough-looking fit-outs. From its blacked-out badging and lower front facade, custom gloss black alloys, to these piercing fog lamps and tail lamp bezels. One look at the Night Eagle and you'll be hooked. Inside, this cabin awakens all of your senses. And with its unmistakable road presence, the Grand Cherokee Night Eagle is an SUV that stands out everywhere you go. Take a look at these amazing capri black leather seats with perforated suede inserts, brilliant instrument cluster, leather steering wheel with mounted controls, push button start, and a large 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, fitted with sat-nav, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. In terms of safety, the Grand Cherokee Night Eagle ticks all the boxes with a reverse parking camera, front and rear parking sensors, electronic stability control, and much, much more. Northern Jeep currently have the largest stock in Melbourne with 40 Grand Cherokee Night Eagles, starting from $56,990 drive away. There's no better place to come and take a look at this special edition model. Get ready to rule the streets with the Night Eagle. Test drive one today at Northern Jeep, 429 to 439 Grimshaw Street, Bundoora. Be there.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you again for sticking around. But just on that ad break, you would have noticed Dipper get a bit of a tongue twister called perforated. What was it? Perforated.
I didn't have my headphones on. Look, it's not easy being me, okay?
Boys, what was it? Perforated what?
Suede seats.
Perforated suede seats.
Say it again.
Perforated suede seats.
Oh, you're a great man. I love that. Anyway, we're going to get our local legend, Brett Henderson, and it's going to roll off a bit of his rap sheet, but I'm sure Brett can add to it a little bit later on as well. But basically, the coaches of all coaches across Victoria, if you ask me, he's been to a lot of different football clubs. He's been involved with the Bendigo Pioneers early on, Echuca United, up there. We'll ask him. I believe he's played with a handful of pretty good footballers during his day up there, and now he's currently in part of the Williamstown Football Club in the VFL system, and currently today working at Cedar as a teacher there, supporting kids and that through diploma and programs through their system. So, Brett, welcome to the show, mate, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Jake. Great to be here, and also with you too, Dipper.
Thanks, Brett. I was just saying before, you've been coaching a long time now. Just go back to your footy days. Whereabouts did you play?
Oh, mate, I probably started getting a bit serious about footy when I was at Assumption College, and I was probably one of the few guys that AFL Scouts didn't have an interest in, and then sort of went to Ballarat and played, senior footy in the Ballarat Footy League, which Jake knows so well.
Yeah.
Then off to the Bendigo Footy League, and then ended up over at East Perth, and then started coaching down at Sale Footy Club.
So from Assumption days, who were the players going through then?
Well, Big Billy Brownless was a year above me, Dipper. He's probably the most famous one. And look, a guy who was our captain was Timmy Powell, who I think Timmy probably played 50, 60 games at Richmond.
Shane Crawford, didn't Shane go there?
Yeah, Shane went there, but he was a little bit after me, Dipper. I think I missed Shane by about 4 or 5 years.
And the coach was Ray
Carroll.
Ray Carroll.
Yeah.
God, how many years did he coach there?
Look, I reckon Ray probably coached Assumption. It would have been close to probably 30 years, I would imagine, and probably lost 6 or 7 games in that time. But look, I suppose his development of young men was his major strength.
Because back in the night days, of the night games, we used to go to Waverley and play, and prior to that, you used to have the Herald Shield, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And Assumption College, you always be there. So as a player, you always looked at there's some players coming through and whatever. It was good times. Did you end up playing at Waverley with the Herald Shield?
No, Dipper, I missed out. I actually I went to Assumption to play footy, and the day before footy season started, I broke my hand in period 6 on the Friday playing a bit of lacrosse in PE.
You play a girls' game, you see what happens to you?
Yeah. And by the time I got back up and going, I wasn't in great touch. So, yeah.
Hey, take us through your coaching history, Brett. You've done a lot in community sport, right from the elite pathway, mate, under 18s, right up now. You find yourself at the VFL Williamstown Football Club.
Yeah, look, I suppose I started up in Swan Hill, Jake, and to be honest, I was that far off the mark, it didn't matter. And look back on that now and just think, well, I wasn't a great coach. I went up to a little place called Leeton Witten. I came up against a few of your adversaries, Dipper, adversaries in Terry Danaher, who was coaching Wagga Tigers, Mervyn Nagle, Mangapla, Cookadinya United, Chris Danaher, Wayne Wetterman and those guys. And it was a pretty brutal style of footy, and it was a great club. I was there for 3 years, loved it. And then went to Echuca United. Deniliquin Rovers had a bit of a break for a while, and then ended up going back and coaching Echuca under-18s, which then led into coaching the Echuca senior team for 3 years.
Yeah, and you coached a few decent players there too, Brett. You want to name off some names?
Yeah, it was probably the most star-studded side in country Victoria, and we dipped out in 2 prelims in a row. So we had Reece Archer, who'd won a McGarry medal, Christian Hyatt, who captained Box Hill, Brad Murray, who captained Port Adelaide Magpies, Chrissy Egan, who was a top 10 draft choice. We had Xavier Campbell, who's now the CEO of Essendon Football Club and played in a number of premierships, I think, for Central Districts. Ollie Wines was 16 or 17 at the time, so we had an awesome side, but we just couldn't get the job done.
Interesting. Players, how many players you got? It's just hard to get to a grand final, isn't it? Look at the man, how many players you got, good players. You need it's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
Definitely. Yeah. Hey, Brett, when you spent your time at Echuca United, I believe, is that where Andrew Walker, is he coaching up there?
Andy.
At the moment? Or is
Andrew coaches Echuca, the side that I coached up there. I coached both Echuca sides. And I actually taught Andrew when he was year 9 and year 10. And look, he's doing a great job up with the Booka Footy Club. His relationship building and his care for the players and what he's brought to the community's just been brilliant.
Hey, did you tell us quickly of your role at Williamstown at the moment, mate?
Yeah, look, it's my second stint at Willie. I was development coach for 3 years and had my own side when the development league was running. Unfortunately, that's sort of been finished off now for a couple of years. And I was lucky enough. Andy Collins got me back last year to be specialist coach and a development coach. And this year, I'm also coaching player manager. So I basically oversee the coaches, I suppose.
Well, that's a fair job. What's Andy do?
Andy does the main things, mate. I suppose when you probably can't do one job properly, they probably give you two or three. So, look, he's doing a great job. He's the best coach I've ever seen. Look, I just think it's a real shame he hasn't had an opportunity at AFL level.
On that point there, what's it like in the field now in the old VFA that we call it? Williamstown is a very famous club there. To get players motivated to come and play that, the second grade of football under the AFL.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Dipper. There's probably two sort of sections of players, I suppose. It's the young boys that have just missed out on being drafted and trying to keep their dream alive and still get picked up, like a guy like Michael Gibbons who's gone to Carlton. And then I suppose there's those players that have sort of been delisted 25, 26, 27 and still want to play really good football and maybe have a little bit of a sniff at getting drafted again. They're probably the main two types. No doubt there's challenges around money from local clubs, but, a lot of the really good players are keen to play the best footy they can.
What's the future of VFL, Brett? I know there's a lot of word getting around about it, and do you know any insight for us, mate?
Well, mate, I reckon we're going to know a hell of a lot more tomorrow. I believe there's been meetings today and there's going to be more tomorrow. I think, there's going to be definite changes. We're still hoping to have an 8-team competition up and running this year. Obviously, the AFL clubs have withdrawn their reserve side, and I think next year I would expect that there will be an AFL reserves competition, but I would hope that the history of Port Melbourne and Williamstown, Werribee, etc., is maintained and they are part of that.
I think it's really important. I mean, I came through the under-19s, the reserves. I mean, you just don't play football. You learn about the club, what the club means and who the club is and what you stand for. Do you think we could go back to that type of setup at clubs instead of like having under-18s and then straight into the VFL?
Yeah, I think so, Dipper. I think there's a fair bit of talk around at the moment at the NAB League side. So, location-wise, we're close to Western Jets. So I would imagine that you may see some combination of Williamstown and Western Jets and all be under the one, management team and coaching team. And I think that's probably a really big step forward. I think there's a bit of a hole in the 18, 19-year-old area for the guys that haven't got drafted. So hopefully you might see some sort of format, re-established where boys that are 19 get an opportunity again.
Hey, before we let you go, Brett, we haven't touched on you're being a part of the SL Locker Room program now. Brett's actually a longest-serving facilitator of our program, Dipper, so he's been a part of our journey for a very long time. And, mate, just quickly, do you want to give us the purpose as to why you're involved and why you feel it's so important?
Oh, look, I suppose the thing is that, mental health, I think, is a challenge for everyone. And, I've certainly had my share of, experiences around that. And it's something that's ongoing. You've got to nurture your mental health. And I think now, seeing I've been through some challenges myself, I think I can hopefully point people in the right direction. And I just love being involved in community clubs, organisations, and I love everything the Outside the Locker Room stands for. And it's just a great organisation. And I just love working for you guys.
Great. And it's really important to have someone like Brett at a footy club like Williamstown, working with the young kids, because if you're 18, 19 and you haven't made it, I mean, those kids think their dreams, their dreams are broken and they're really down for a while, aren't they? I mean, I think the best football, if you can hang into about 23, 24, 25, that's when you really know about what type of player you're going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of these kids are getting their dreams shattered at, 18, 19, even younger dipper, if they haven't made an under-16 representative squad. So, there's a lot of, rebuilding of young men, I suppose, after they've probably been promised that they're going to be drafted and they've missed out. And I see that as a real challenge, and I love being involved with those young guys. And we've got a new development coach at Williamstown now, Aaron McVilly, and he's doing a great job. So it's just great to see there's so many people that are willing to help these young guys out.
Hey, Brett, thank you so much for joining us tonight, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time, and we'll catch up with you soon, and hopefully football can get back.
Yeah, we'll get Colo one day. We'll see what he actually does.
Yeah, get the great man on. Yeah, well, if you figure it out, let me know, Dipper.
Yeah, good man, Colo. Is he having a drink these days? He hasn't drank for a while, has he?
No, he doesn't touch it. I think he stays well clear of a dipper. So unless he's a closet drinker, but I don't think he touches it.
All right, mate.
Good on you, Brett. We'll
let you go, mate, and you can
Thanks,
jump.
guys.
No, you can jump off the line there, mate.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with you
great
soon.
to chat. Thank you.
See you, Brett. Bye. There you go, mate.
It's just great having people like Brett around the footy club because of the fact of his experience, but also as your dream, my dream. We're all different back in the day. I was zoned in there, not drafted or going through the under 18s, whatever. I was zoned, played at Hawthorn, under 19s, went to reserve, and ended up playing footy.
Just one thing, I don't think you ever really forget your under 16, 18-year-old coach.
No.
Mark Neild was my coach at Western Jets when I was recruited, and Neild is probably the reason I got drafted. I couldn't get a kick as a forward line, as a centre forward. As a 17-year-old, I got drafted, but couldn't get a kick at the football. He then said to me, mate, you're going down centre half back. Played me centre half back for 6 weeks. Got best on ground, 4 or 5 of them.
I'll tell you something. Jeremy Brereton, I know Jeremy, you're watching, love you, mate. He could not get a kick for about 4 or 5 weeks, and Alan Jean said, "You're going to centre half back because as a forward, you're going to make room, lead all the time, whatever. And confidence is a big thing. He went centre half back, and he destroyed because the ball was coming to him.
Yep.
He could read it, and then we put him back, and he ended up kicking 11 goals against Richmond one day.
Dermy and I sound very similar players by sound. But what we do, guys, we're going to jump to a quick break. Please take notice of the next video. It's really important. Stigma Stops Here video we put together about 12 months ago off the back of the unfortunate passing of Danny Frawley. And after that, we'll be back with Booka, Nile, our special guest.
Together, we can all make a difference.
Speak up and take a stand.
Enough is enough.
Let's make a change.
Together, we can do more.
And together, we can all reach zero.
Yeah, I can't believe I've lost now.
Do I understand mental illness? Not 100%. Certainly, I don't. But I'm seeing a lot of people affected by it.
As a player, I remember those great days, but also I remember the down days as well. And and even today, I'm happy to say that I wake up at times I don't want to talk to anyone, see anyone.
Depression is something that I've found is so widespread and such a dangerous illness because of the fact that it makes people want to withdraw from their friends, withdraw from family, withdraw from doing the things that they like doing and feel comfortable with, to a point where they no longer feel a part of a community or a part of a network.
Encouraged to be open and talk about your struggles and seek support. Your network, your friends, your family are so important, and instead of shying away from those people for support, actually leaning on them now is important to dealing with it.
Football being just a manly sport, I think it's more evolving now that you see it in the news now that people are struggling and people are starting to come out forward and speak about it.
Together, we can reach zero.
If you'd like to join us and help share this really important message, please simply share this video or visit our website for more information. everyone, welcome back, and thank you again for sticking around. It means a lot to us. Keep leaving your questions below. Everyone keeps commenting about how good Dipper is, and they appreciate the work that I'm doing. And we love the love. But leave us some questions, will you, please? Put some questions below. You want to ask us something, go for it. And we won't deny any love, but...
A question for you.
Go for it.
Right,
a question without notice.
Without notice. Were you good at any other sport?
Cricket.
Cricket.
I between football and cricket, I had to pick.
Right, to pick?
Yep.
On a serious note, you were good enough to go and play on?
I got picked for Victoria in both sports. I had to go pick one.
Right, but Dad said as you left the room, you know the family loves football.
You know the family history in footy, son.
Were you a bowler or batsman?
I was an all-rounder, but I fancy myself probably more as a bowler when I got a little bit older.
And you often think about that, thinking, oh, maybe I made the wrong move.
Well, with the whole Big Bash and stuff now, I probably made a very negative financial move.
Yeah, very right.
I could travel the world.
Stephen Coniglio, right?
Yeah. Who's that?
The captain of GWS.
What's his last name?
Cox. Yeah. Coniglio.
Coniglio.
What's his name?
Stephen Coniglio.
No, the captain of Australia at the time, from Tasmania.
Painey?
No, our time. It was the captain, punter.
Oh, Ricky?
Yeah, Ricky.
Ricky.
Sorry, Ricky. He actually went over to Perth and lived with him for 3 or 4 days.
Oh, yeah?
To entice him to come and play cricket as a young 15, 16-year-old boy.
Yeah.
He was going to be one of the up-and-comers, so he took on footy instead.
I think, because cricket, you're 11 people to play for a national sport, so it's very unlikely, perhaps, statistically, you'll play, Australian cricket. But whereas football, there's more numbers, you're more chance maybe to play at elite level. So, hence why, mate, I picked footy, and I don't regret it, but it would have been nice to travel the world and play cricket in the Caribbean and places like that. It would have been lovely.
I did that as a player.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that.
MJ.
We'll talk about that because your Dipper's Vault.
I've taken over again.
Taken over again. You're asking me, but that's fine. But go on.
So in response to The Last Dance, which is the Netflix's #1 ever watched documentary ever shown on Netflix, I put together the top 3 Michael Jordan plays of all time. I was a big Michael Jordan fan. I think most people were big Michael Jordan fans.
We had a dog called MJ. Dylan and Candace named our retriever MJ.
What Velvet think about that?
No, this is before Velvet.
Was it? Oh yeah. All right. Just making sure. Let's roll the Vault, boys, and we'll check it out. So the first one was Game 1 in 1997. This is number 3. And Jordan coming as he steps up here. This is against Utah. And as you can see, man of all class. Game 1, right on the buzzer.
Right on the buzzer.
To take him to Game 2 with a 1-0 up, which I believe it was in Chicago, as it was, yeah. I mean, the guy was just an absolute freak. For those that have watched the Last Dance, it'd be interesting to everyone leave comments below of what they think of the documentary. But it was something that every Monday night when every episode come out, I couldn't go to bed. So number 2 is 1989.
Love that year.
The jumper. I think everyone knows this. Famous for this jumper against the Cavs. Boom. And then as he plays it, it's very famous. I feel the guy who falls down on the ground. I can't remember his name now. The guy who was on him, but he's very famous for that jump in the air and punch, as it was, and it's obviously folklore now. This jump shot.
Number 23, famous number. Shane Warne,
Dermy's a few 23s, isn't it? And number 1 is Game 6 in 1998. Obviously, he strips the ball from the big Post Malone, which is one part of it, and then he takes it down the other end, and then he goes one-on-one. Now, everyone thinks that Jordan pushes him here, but if you watch it on the documentary, he doesn't push him at all. He just puts his hand on his back, pulls back the jumper, and spots it. He was never going to miss. So those were my top 3 Dippers. I know that they're probably your top 3. And I'll put them together for Dipper's Vault. So
I've got other top 3. But obviously, it's Dipper's Vault, but you picked them. That's fine. But everyone's trying to do the jump of Michael Jordan in the air, like Air Jordan when
a famous dunk.
He crosses in front of the key and goes right over the key and drops the ball in. But to watch him play with like superstar, like LeBron James these days, and Stephen Curry.
Curry, yeah,
Curry.
yeah.
I mean, these guys, they just
Oh, they're freaks, yeah.
They're freaks.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that everyone now, all the players you mentioned now, I think they're playing because of Jordan's influence back then. When you watch a documentary, you don't realise how big influence Jordan was on an international scale. Like, the NBA should be absolutely kissing his feet for the rest of his life. He took it absolutely global because of his name. And it's interesting, the whole Adidas and Nike thing as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because Adidas, he wanted to go with Adidas, but they said, no, we're not making a shoe for you. And Nike said, we'll take a punt on you and see how we go. And ended up...
And what about Dennis Rodman, right?
Oh, he's all class.
In sport and in life, sometimes we need a break.
He's all
we
class.
need a break of things. We're all different people. Some are quiet, some are introverts, extroverts. We're all different. Some wear makeup, some people don't. But Dennis Rodman did everything. Dennis Rodman came from the streets. He was picked up by a family off the streets, a white family off the streets. And then, because he had some pretty good schooling, whatever, but he used to spend day after day after day in the gym at Chicago, like 10 hours a day. And Phil Jackson used to say, listen, mate, you better get out there, go home. But he felt if he went outside the stadium, he was going to get in some trouble. Now, as you know, he became one of the great players, of course, and then he'd say, I've got to let out some steam. I'll go to Vegas. And Phil Jackson said, you know what?
Let him go.
I'll give you 2 days. I'll give you 48 hours. And Michael Jordan said, he won't come back in 48 hours. It was a knock on the door. We know what happens after that. But that's the thinking of a coach. Think, you know what? Yeah, off you go.
It's a great testament to Phil Jackson. I think he knew his plays, he knew his people, and he realised that Dennis, you couldn't lock him in there.
You can't hit the same player or people like in your own family with the same stick.
Yeah.
You know, that's what Alan Jeter's a great person like that. John Kerry's a great person like that because he knew individuals, how to get to the individual. You know, and I think that was really good to see that at professional sport.
Hey, mate, we could talk about coaching that all night. Ezzy is one of my fantastic coaches as well. We could touch on that. We might try and get Ezzy on the show, actually, in a couple of weeks. But we're going to jump to a quick break now, and coming up next quickly, I know we've got Booka waiting on the line, so she's going to join us straight after this. Welcome back in. As I mentioned earlier, we had a very special guest with us tonight. Now, previously, the former shows, we've had all athletes on board in sport. And as I said off the top, tonight's guest, I think, is the best guest we've had on the show to date, Dipper. And this is why. Her name's Booka, Nile, and she plays piano and vocals for a band called Make Them Suffer, as you see in the intro there. She's a guitarist and vocalist for the Internet Friends, which is a new band she can talk about a bit later on. Founder of Sonic Minds, and one of the reasons why I got her on the show tonight, talk a little bit more about that. She's a psychology grad, she's a mental health recovery partner, a law student, and a YouTube mental health vlog online. So you type in her name on YouTube. I take a deep breath there, Dip. There's a lot
that's amazing. Booka, thank you for joining us. And I really love that music, because I know the type of music that Jake listens to. At least I can hear your words, because most it's like...
That's what my mum and dad said as well.
Yeah, so now we talk about athletes all the time, but to be a singer, you need to be athletic. You need to be strong, to be a dancer, to do film clips like you are. But just reading all the things that you're up to, welcome to the show. How much does music mean to you?
Sorry, what was that?
How much does music mean to you? And when did you start to get that feel of music?
Oh, music means just like the tiniest little bit to me. No, it's actually just my entire life. And yeah, I've been playing music for my whole life, basically. Well, since I was 8. Right. So since I was,
you make a living out of this, right? Did mum and dad ever say to you, go get a job, make sure that you're covered there, but no, your music just drove you to where you are today?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had like, a fancy-ish job. I was, my parents' dream child. And then over Christmas dinner one night, I'm cutting up my veggies, and I was just like, this is the perfect time to drop this bombshell. And I was just like, so Mum, Dad, I'm quitting my career to join a metal band. And and they were like, I'm sorry, I thought you just said that you're quitting your career to join a metal band. And I was like, yeah.
Not just a band, a metal band.
Yeah, exactly. They were like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you just finished your degree. Like, you got the job that you did your degree in order to get. Like, you're running a psychiatric hostel yourself. Like, it's you're doing really well. Like, what are you thinking? But no, best choice I ever made, because I got to live my my high school childhood dream of playing in a band that got to travel around the world. And so yeah.
Hey, just on that, Booka, when you talk about, you and I spoke in this a lot of times the last few weeks around the psychology with music and the impact that it has on our mind. Do you want to just give the viewers and Dipper a bit of a crash course in music therapy and how that actually plays?
Sure. I mean, I'll try and not go on a 5-hour rant, but it tends to be difficult for me not to. Well, music is one thing that I love talking about is how music is an innately human thing. It's a thing that we as human beings have sort of over our evolution have created. And it's amazing because we don't ever have to really be taught what is in tune and what is out of tune, what notes are bung in a melodic sequence and which notes are fitting. And we also have this really deep understanding of rhythm and stuff. So we understand rhythmic patterns and stuff just from when we're born. So we're born understanding music, and that's why on earth would we need to have this ability to be able to understand and interpret music the way we do? But we just do, which firstly is amazing. Secondly, for whatever reason, and I guess it's perhaps we get used to hearing music, it becomes a comforting type thing. It's used to express emotions, or we'll listen to certain songs to get us through hard times and things like that. It's a very powerful thing. We can literally manipulate our own emotions through listening to music. If we listen to something that's hectic, it can actually result in our bodies releasing more cortisol than usual, which is the stress sort of that's what happens when we get stressed. So if we listen to something really, really hectic or that we don't like, perhaps like it's going to make us more stressed. If we listen to something we love or that's, quite relaxing, it's going to reduce levels of stress. It will increase levels of dopamine, serotonin. Like it actually has like a neurologic, neuropsychological effect on our brains and like our bodies as well. So like
when we talk about music therapy, it's a thing, Dip. It actually is a therapeutic method for dealing with mental health. And
well, absolutely. What you're saying
backed by science as well. So, yeah.
What Booka's saying, you're down, you're up, you're in between, whatever it is, you listen to a song and the body just takes over. You either dance to it, you cry to it, you laugh to it, you think about life. It's just an easy way to deal with emotions,
Yeah, and also on the flip side.
And to influence them as well, I guess, as well. And like, there's all these different types of music therapy because there's like listening therapies, and then there's like what we've been doing, which is as part of Sonic Minds, which is writing. Like it's like therapeutic songwriting, I guess, because there's all of this, like there's so many benefits to writing music, even if you're someone who's like never done it before, or you're not a musical person. There's like the act of creating something, especially if it's like you're creating something and it's to do with like something you've been through or something you are going through. Like you're sort of like taking what's going on internally and like taking it out, and you're like using that, like using your pain or using like your trauma or experiences to create something beautiful and like that's deeply personal. So it's quite amazing, and I've seen it just have mind-blowing effects on people's lives.
Being personal, we're not getting too personal here with Jake and yourself. You and guys have been together now for a week or two. You're writing a song, you're putting some music to it. How are we going with it? How is he as a pupil?
He's a natural.
Natural.
He's the next big thing.
Right.
So far.
It's interesting because, like Jake was saying, he'd never written he hadn't done sort of like this writing sort of thing before. But then as soon as we kind of got going, you like clicked and you're like, and you're writing stuff like. It's like
Booka,
it's really
is it a love song? Is it a deep and hurting song? Is it a cheerful song? Is it?
Well, we haven't written lyrics yet, have we?
Okay,
we haven't. Yeah, we were started with lyrics, but I can basically.
Oh, no, that's right, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically what it started off with is more of a punk kind of '90s kind of genre type of feel, Dip, which I know you're a big fan of.
Yeah, big fan.
Big fan. But it's certainly
like
more
Sex
emotive.
Pistol type thing.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, well, that's early early punk, but a little bit later. It's more like Blink 182 type of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Booka, tell us about what it's like to be on tour. With a band like Make Them Suffer and travelling the world.
Great name, babe. Make Them Suffer. What's that about?
Make Them Suffer. What's it about? What do you mean?
What's the name? Where does it come from?
Oh, look, I had nothing to do with that. I tell you what. The band was already called Make Them Suffer when I joined. And I don't know, it's pretty metal, isn't it? But then... I don't know. It's just, I think like a member who's no longer in the band, like a past member, was the one who decided on that name, and it's now it's too late to change it. But it's kind of like it's fitting, and it's kind of like an interesting juxtaposition now because we've got a lot more female vocals in the band compared to like when the band started. So it's like actually a lot more melodic and like pretty, I think, now. So the name is interesting because back in the day they used to be, you think we're heavy now, like, oh my gosh, 5-6 years ago, whew, would blow your head off.
Just touring, Booka, no doubt it seems like a lot of fun and the dream when you were younger, but there's a lot of stress that comes with it. You're away from home. It's not in 5-star hotels. You're
late nights. Sore throats.
There's all that stuff. So give us a little bit of an insight on what it's like.
And lots of men, like I'm always the only, like there's been a couple of tours, like I can count them on one hand, where there's been a female on the tour as well. And there's just like men, like dudes smell. That's one thing I've noticed. Like, and when we're touring in America, like, I'd have to rough it so hard in America. Like sometimes we just sleep overnight in the van. Like we wouldn't be in a bus in America. We'd be in like a van, and like I would just have to go to sleep in the van. Like, And, you know, like we don't have to get to shower every day. Like it's just, yeah, like you really start to miss like luxuries, like the luxuries of like, you know, proper shampoo and conditioner and stuff like that when you're on tour. But that being said, it's like there's some type of like weird, like something that I really like about that, of like just feeling like, oh God, like I'm like out in the wilderness, I'm roughing it, I'm playing like shows every night. I feel so gross and like I want to have a shower so bad, but like I also just, you know, it's just like a totally different state to be in, and it's awesome as well. So,
what's the best concert you've played at or been in front of?
Best ever show. Oof.
Or the
That's
biggest.
a real. Hey.
Or the biggest.
The biggest was I probably would say it would be Unify Festival, like the first ever festival I played, of course. Like, so I was terrified. Like, I could hardly play the piano because my hands were just like shaking like this so much. Because it was like, I couldn't see the end of the crowd. There was just so many people. It was like a sea of people. And I had this moment when I was up there, I was like, is this actually real? Like, is this happening right now? This is my life. Are you joking me? But yeah, it was amazing. And since then we played a lot of big festivals with, you know, like anywhere between 5 to, I don't even know, like more, like just like thousands and thousands of people. So yeah, it's been wild. Like,
so Booka, who's been your influences coming through in music and family or friends? And
definitely, I've got like just I've got a wonderful family, and I've got wonderful friends who are incredibly supportive. So I've got, you know, like a notable person who's been an influence for me has been my friend Alex Payoff, who is the owner of a company called Pile Rats. They do a lot of like music marketing and stuff like that. They're pretty amazing. And he was the one who kind of like, he didn't talk me into joining Make Them Suffer, but when I had the offer and the opportunity came, he was the right person to talk to, and he really supported me to make that decision for myself to leave my career, join a metal band randomly. And then Shantae Snow, who is one of my best girlfriends, who plays in a metal band as well. She's like, you know, we're like, you know, sort of can connect over that, being the only girls in metal bands. Shantae is an incredible singer, songwriter as well, and solo artist, and she's also just super, super supportive and lovely, and yeah, as constant source
and music. Did you ever listen to, you know, country music or, you know, Stray and Crawl and all the, you know, all the great bands like that, or has just gone straight to metal?
I mean, country music probably not my favorite. No? But I used to listen to the classics. Like, you know, my dad used to like love playing like, you know, just like, you know, I couldn't even probably name some of like these songs, but I just know them so well. They are like my childhood. So
who's your favorite band of all time?
My favorite band of all time is probably Queens of the Stone Age.
Right. Yeah. Rock on.
What about a favorite musician?
Favorite musician? That's a hard one. I wouldn't even be able to tell you, to be honest. Like, as far as like a solo artist goes, I mean, can I be biased and say Shantae Snow because she's like amazing and she's my best friend? She is incredible. I'm a big admirer of an artist called George Maple, who is like another sort of female musician who I look up to. She's totally different genre of music, but she does everything herself, and she's called herself George Maple because she's realized that, like, I think the story was that, you know, she's like, it's a man's world, like it's a man's music industry. I'm going to call myself George Maple. Everyone, exactly. And she was like, everyone thinks I'm just a guy DJ or like a guy producer who gets women to guest vocal on my tracks, kind of like a Calvin Harris type thing, but it's all just her.
Hey, Booka, tell us a little bit about Sonic Minds. I'm really interested because, I love the music, but people out there can connect now. Yeah, how can we get involved with Sonic Minds?
Well, we have got a website as of recently because we're very fresh. Like, we're, you know, only a couple of months old really, but it's been going so great. So we've got a website that you can go to, and then you can submit an inquiry, and that is at sonicminds.com.au.
Do you have to
And then
be
we've
a
got
muso? Do you
emails.
have to be a muso? Do
No.
you have to, no? So no, nothing about music. Not nothing about music. I don't play an instrument. I don't know how to write a song. We come to you and you put it all together for us.
Not for you. Go to work.
Okay.
Or like you will learn plenty about songwriting, about writing. I mean, you don't have to know an instrument. You don't have to physically be able to like, you know, play a guitar, for example,
Right.
or like a piano or whatever it be. Because, you know, you can do other things. You can hum a melody. You can show us how, like, what you want the song to sound like that. Or you can, you know, you can write lyrics. You can come up, you can describe how you want the song to sound. If you're like, okay, this song's about my life journey, and here it's gonna like, here is when it got really hard. So like, I want the tempo to go faster here, and then I want the guitars to get like a bit more chuggy. You know, like you can tell your story through lyrics. You can tell your story through the actual like sound, like, you know, the sonic sort of properties, I guess, of the song, like how the song works and fits together. So there's so many things you can do. And then if you are an experienced musician, well, hey, you're an experienced musician. You
So
can play
if I'm
them
getting married, or if I try to say something to someone, or, you know, I can get a song written.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. So like as gifts, like, well, you know, it doesn't have to be a gift. It could be like, you know, you just want to tell someone you care about them. You might just want to have your own song for yourself. We've written many songs for like
I got a song
just
about
people.
myself.
Dipper's got a song about himself. Do you want to sing it?
I've had 3 songs written about me. I didn't write it myself, but
You want 4?
sorry, you want 4? I love have 4. Don't worry, I'm booking in, Booka. But anyway, the journey between you and Jake will be
And Asher. There's another guy part of it.
Ash will be sort of filmed a little bit. You're going to show us a little bit what the process is all about.
Yeah, we are. It's something that I'm really passionate about. I'm helping the guys out. I do have an invested interest, and I think it's an incredible program that they've got. I'm very passionate about music, and I'm very supportive of the impact.
When's your next gig? I want to be in the front. I went to see Spiderbait recently, and I got punched up in the middle of the front. I got dragged from left to right, lifted up, thrown down the back.
Could you imagine him in a match suffer?
Yeah, and then I ran down through the people, and the guy said, "Oh, I just got bumped by Dipper." I wanted to smash his head in.
We should try and get you able to crowd surf there.
Crowd surfing.
To the front.
Crowd surfing, I did that a few times when I was on tour. Like I jumped off the stage into the crowd. It's terrifying, but also so fun. Yeah. Also, like, but you know, are those days long gone? I mean, we're kind of like not allowed to go near each other at the moment.
True. Yes. Yeah,
that is true. It's just on that, Book, before we let you go, a couple of things. What advice can you give to someone who might be experiencing a really tough time right now with isolation?
The advice that I would give, I guess, is to try and utilize the resources that are out there. Like if you're feeling quite like if it's because you're feeling isolated, let's say, like if you're feeling like lonely, like a lack of connectedness, you know, we are fortunate enough to, for most people anyway, you know, have access to things like internet, FaceTime. Like I found when I was in isolation, just having the ability to FaceTime my mates was really, really nice. And I ended up catching up with people over FaceTime who I hadn't seen in 6 months, you know. All of a sudden we all really wanted to hang out because we weren't allowed to hang out. I would also really make sure that you are able to fill your day with some purpose. And like that's, for me, that's music. Like that gets me out of bed every day. Or especially when I was in full lockdown and isolation, when I returned from Europe, I wasn't allowed to see anyone. And you got to keep busy. Like if you are locked indoors and you're not allowed to really do much or do the things that you love, you got to keep busy and you got to have a sense of purpose to your day. So find what you love, or find that like what is something perhaps that you've never like committed yourself to doing. Just go and do it. Like go and learn a new instrument or go and learn a new language or something like that, because and you really like try to get involved in it, because it'll definitely help a lot. Don't
self-tattooing.
That's great advice. What was that?
Self-tattooing.
Self-tattooing?
Yeah, well, I'm scared of tattoos.
Oh, you can do it yourself. You would do.
I mean, that could work as well.
Hey, do you guys as an industry, in the music industry, do you have any idea of when and how it might look when you guys can get back to playing live music?
I mean, it's all very much like we just don't know. Like, I mean, we're all hoping, and like the general like consensus is that like hopefully there will be some type of shows allowed at least by like October, November. But like whether that means, you know, like you're allowed 100 people at a gig and they all have to stand like away from each other versus, you know, having like 1,000 people at a gig, like it just really depends. I did hear, however, and I don't know how true this is, but apparently clubs will soon be opening up again in the ACT. So and like I'm talking like, you know, clubs that are like allow for like over, you know, 100 people or 200 people. So like that's a good thing. I think they have to have like
that club's called Parliament.
Sorry?
That club is called Parliament.
Parliament House.
Yes. You know, I was like, before I ever went to the ACT or Canberra, I was like, is anything there? Isn't it just like just Parliament? Like,
hello, I'm Scormore. I'm the man. Yeah, go.
Hey, just behind your book, there you can see a few guitars there.
Yeah.
Is there any chance you could pick one up and play a few chords for us?
I'm picking this one up because this is my favourite one.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
Is that a Gibson, a Fender? What is it?
This is a Fender Telly, and this was my first guitar, like my first electric guitar that I ever bought for myself. Right. I bought it last year when I decided to form internet friends because I was like, well, crap, I better learn how to play guitar. So, because I'm a piano player, I didn't play guitar before. So this is what I've been learning and playing on. And what did you want me to do with it? Just like model it?
Well, no, can you play a couple chords and maybe just belt out a couple lines or something?
Oh, belt out a couple of lines.
I'll put you on the spot here. I'll put you on the spot completely.
Belt out one of Jake's lines.
Hold on. I need to get an acoustic guitar, I think.
That's all right. Take your time.
See, this is what music's all
about. Take time. We're already
have
live.
A choice.
That's fine.
Yeah, I have a choice of guitar.
Oh, not that one. That's very out of Jeez. Jeez Louise. I need like a mini piano or something. Let's see this. It's not very in tune and I can't tune it, but like we'll give it a red hot. Oh, no, I can't even. That's
all right. Don't worry about it. We'll leave it.
I play drums.
We played drums.
Yeah.
I'm going to try one more.
One more?
That's all I've got left, but...
Oh, there's the last couple. Hey, Brooke, well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, mate. And if any final things around Sonic Minds, we want people to jump on the website. They can message you privately as well through Instagram and anything like that.
They can hit me up. They can slide into the DMs if they want to know more info. Like we offer like a bazillion different services. Like we've got, you know, like we've got the therapeutic songwriting, but then we've also got like, you know, hey, if you're like, I'm not into therapy, but I just want to write like a banger, we can do that too. We write songs for people. We give industry advice. We give music lessons as well, like piano, guitar, vocals.
And if you write a banger, you can push it right through, can't you? If you write a good song, a banger as you call it, if you write a banger, you can actually take it right through to the record deals.
That is right. I didn't mention that. So like, you know, we are like going to give people the option to have their song released, like put onto streaming platforms and like, you know, stores like Apple Music and Spotify and things like that. And to help them, we can help them as well with doing a proper release. So
marketing stuff like that. Thank you so much again, mate. We'll catch up tomorrow. I'll see you.
See you tomorrow for your session. I hope you're ready. I hope you've been practicing.
I have been. I think I've got the chorus and the next verse sorted. So.
Well, I'm keen to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and when I say sorted, they'll help sort it. Yeah.
You don't even need us by the sounds of it.
No. Trust me.
But you're a guitar player, right?
I guitar, but the other guy who isn't with Asher, he's a whiz, isn't he, Booka?
It's not Asher.
He's a freak of nature, prodigy.
No, that's Usher.
Oh, that's Usher. Hey, I'm up with it.
All right, mate. We'll let you go.
Imagine if Usher was like running Sonic Minds with me, though.
Well, we wouldn't be sitting right here, Booka, I'll tell you right now.
No, I would be in a very much nicer house than mine.
Hey, mate, we're going to let you go. Thanks for jumping
all
the way from
Booka.
over there.
No worries, guys. Thanks for having me. Also, Dipper, my dad's a huge fan, and I bet
shout out to your dad. What's your dad's name?
Richard.
Hey, Richie. Richard.
Thanks, mate.
Let's hang out, brother. Let's write out a banger with Usher.
You guys are great. Thank
See you,
you so
Booka.
much.
See you, mate. Thanks
See you
for
later,
jumping on.
guys. Bye.
What a girl! What a way to help people through music.
Oh, mate, it's incredible. And I know we keep going on about it. I'll go on about it again because I love it. And just jump on the website on sonicminds.com.au and just send an inquiry. Don't matter your level, if you've never touched a guitar before, but you want to write a song for your partner, your lover, whoever it might be, or a wedding
the
coming
same
up,
person.
engagement. Could be the same person. Hopefully it's the same person, Dip. Just jump on there and check it out. It's a fantastic little program they got going on. And I will share more information on my story.
Well, I hope you get a laugh out of our show. Look, we are all about helping people out there. Before we go, outside the locker room, how many clubs have we seen now? Well, actually, not at the moment, but we've reached out now.
Well, it's nearly just over a couple hundred sporting clubs now across Australia we've worked with. And now there's been talk of sport coming back and the likelihood of that happening, we're still up in the air about, but hopefully we get some more clarity in the next few weeks, which would enable our program, mate, to get back out to community as well.
Great work out there. No, that's a great guest once again. Yeah, you're right. She's one of the best up there. Music just cuts through all things. Like sport cuts through everything, you know?
It really does, yeah. And when you think about at high school, sport was my thing, you know, because and then I remember a lot of the kids who love music were in the music room all the time at lunchtime and stuff like that.
Well, I was a thespian. I was an actor. Some of the roles I played, but it was so much fun because I had a stutter, a really bad stutter. Can you imagine me being a stutter? To be, oh, not to be. But taught me how to. Look, you know. Anyway, ended up becoming a drummer. So a drummer.
You still play a bit, though. You never tell me you still play a bit.
Yeah, well, you know, if there's a band going around, need a drummer.
Yeah, put your hand up.
Put your hand up. All right.
All right, guys. We're going to say thank you. Well, we're all going to leave you. We're going to head off. We've gone a little bit longer with Booka because I wanted to spend the time needed to actually get to know her more and learn more about music therapy.
What a great conversation, Stu. She's a very happy young lady.
Absolutely. And stay tuned. And next week we might be a little bit in a different setting. We'll come to you
apparently
somewhere different.
You haven't told me anything, but you'll tell me my Dipper's vault. You tell me what's going on.
I was shocked you were here on time tonight. I'm still getting over that you were here.
Well, I've been late. No, I was only here 3 hours before.
That's right. All right, guys, have a good evening. Thank you all for joining us.
And thanks, guys. And thanks to Ben and Mark behind the cameras there. Thanks, boys. Really appreciate your time. Woohoo! Let's rock on.
See you later.